got challenges that you're going to run across.
Welcome to another episode of Elite Psyche.
Welcome to another episode of Elite Psyche, the Mental Toughness Show. And I'm talking about this book today, Relentless, which is one of my favorite by Tim Grover. I'm sure a lot of you guys read it, but the key is not reading it, is rereading it. Because a lot of times when you go back and read that second time, you're going to hear stuff that you didn't hear before. You're going to read stuff that you didn't see before. Because a lot of times when you read stuff, it might be something in that chapter that caught your attention. And you're like, wow, you highlighted, you thinking about it. And then as you read on, you still kind of thinking of that. So you miss the next things that go on. It's like the Coast Guard catching, some of the kingpins out on the water, or their delivery out on the water. And as they're arresting them, is a bigger boat going by that they didn't even see because they're focusing on that. That's the same thing when you focus on a paragraph or two and it really gets you pumped. I'm gonna read one in a minute. You kind of miss the other one. That's why you want to reread and reread. A guy used to always tell me, Tony Fleming, what are you rereading? That's the key. It ain't just about reading it, reread it. So I want to talk a little bit about this couple of paragraphs here, at least read a couple of paragraphs to you. So he says, I don't want to hear that someone can't handle pressure. Now, this is Michael Jordan's trainer. Oh, let me give you a little story behind that too. Some of y'all probably know it. I don't know if you do or not. But he sent out a letter back in the day. It wasn't email. So he put a letter. He had the letter put in all of the Chicago Bulls lockers. And it was a letter talking about his training ability and what he would do to strengthen these guys if they checked him out. He just want to talk with them. He didn't put one in Michael Jordan's locker. He put one in everybody else. And they asked him why. He said, well, Mike was already winning. He already had it all. So why would I think that he would do it? So what happened, Mike saw those letters in there. He pulled one out, probably BJ Armstrong. He pulled one out and he read it. He said, he told his people, check on this guy for me. And they checked on him and researched him and they told him he was legit. So he said, tell him to come by my house. So he went by the house. Funny story about that. He talks about that when he pulled up, he realized he had Reeboks on, I think. And, Mike is a Nike guy. And then when he pulled the shoes off, he said, I'm going there with my socks on because I don't want him to see these Reeboks. He had holes in his socks. So he had to pull those off too. Now, this is the first time meeting Michael Jordan when he came in. Mike looked at his feet like, what? He said, man, you got a clean house. I just went, kind of blew it over. And then he sat down with Mike. And after that, I think he had a contract with him for 12 or 13 years where he was pretty much the only one training Mike. No, he was the only one training Mike, but he wasn't training any of the other Bulls. Mike was like, nah, you got to train me. And then after about 12 years or 10 years, Mike said, okay, he brought, I don't know how many people to him. But during that time, this dude was Mike's personal. He went everywhere. If Mike needed him, he did everything. And, I probably, if I was a trainer like that and he gave that, I'm like, okay. Just to say that I was Mike, I don't think, I had to research it more, but I don't think he didn't train some other people that Mike didn't know, but he might not. He might have had because he was training people on the day of the game. I mean, he was training Mike on the day of the game, which was unheard of. The players weren't working out with weights on the day of the game, but he was training Mike to get that toughness, during that time with Detroit where they was just, you coming down the middle. You really didn't want any of that because it was relentless. And so he trained Mike. All right. So now this is a couple of paragraphs I want to read. I don't want to hear that someone can't handle pressure. Everyone can handle pressure. Most people choose not to because it's easier to stay safe in the comfort zone. But if you want to be successful, to have that place in the sun, then you have to lead a shade. If you want, you got to lead a shade. It's not easy to lead a shade. It's cool and comfortable compared to the hot discomfort for the sun. It's not easy to start a business. It's not easy to do a lot of things outside of the box because you're going to get attacked. But if you want it bad enough, you got to deal with that attack. You got to deal with the attack of the the people that are inside the box who, you know, their whole thought is go to school, get a good education, go get good grades, maybe a master's or a PhD, part-time, you know, UPS, FedEx, or Delta. That's in the box. Now, when you step outside the box, start a business, I don't care what, a traditional business, home-based business, the people in the box are going to criticize you most of the time because they're not familiar with that. They don't believe that you should do that. So you have to be tough to lead that shade. He said, but you can't be relentless if you take discomfort, and you can't be unstoppable if you only deal with pressure when you have no choice. Pressure can bust pipes. We all know that, but it can also make diamonds. If you take the negative view, it will crush you. Now you're in a I can't do this frame of mind. But the positive view is the pressure. Positive view is that pressure is a challenge that will define you. It gives you the opportunity to see how many of you can take it, how hard you can go. Everyone wants to cut back on stress because stress kills. Now, I'm reading from the book. He says, I say bullshit. That's what Tim Grover said. He said, I say bullshit. Stress is what brings you to life. Let it motivate you, make you work harder. Use it, don't run from it. When it makes you uncomfortable, so what? The payoff is worth it. Work throughout this comfort, you'll survive and then go back for more. Man, I heard the one of the reels on Instagram, I think, or TikTok, where well, I always do this, Amazon guy. He said, stress is caused by not doing the things that we know we should do. So if you're in a business and you need to call for prospects every day, or you need to, you know, call for new clients every day, and you know you need to do it, or go on social media and do what you need to do with the, you know, but you don't do it. And when you don't do what you know you need to do, that stress will come up on you. And stress kills, man. Stress gets down in the second brain, the microbiome, and it kills. So a lot of times we sitting around stressed out, knowing we should do something that we normally do. I mean, that we have to do to win. So then we finally start doing that. And then we realize, oh man, that was a bear I should have tackled a long time ago. But I just, in my head, I made it seem like it's more than that. So understand, he says, man, just get at it. When it makes you comfortable, so what? The payoff is worth it. Work through this discomfort and you'll survive. And then go back for more. Go back for more. So that's the book, Relentless, Tim Grover. A lot of great stories in here. If you're a little on the soft side, you might not want to read this because he comes hard. I mean, he comes really hard. But this is one of my favorite books. I got a number of books that I'm going to be talking about with you guys. But that will be it for the day. And we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.